exercises that you all received from Dr. Viviana. Let's watch how each of you push the boundaries with each other.
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book 91. We'll talk to you guys about the 3 wives and 3 husbands and the different body language we're seeing. All the men were consistent with their body language. Alyssa, Lindsay, and Jasmina were all problematic on this season, and seemingly all 3 men seem to also show their behaviors in this reunion. All 3 of them were leaning away from the women that they were seated next to. I think this is really important. I think this is also an indication again around holding frame. Okay. There's one thing to sit aside the partner, but to lean away from them is another situation. I'm going to break it down a bit better for you guys today. Now, if you're new on the channel, do me a massive favor, like it, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of the uploads. We appreciate you guys. A lot to say loaded. We want to break down today why the leaning away is a problem for the men. This is my interpretation of what I'm seeing and what I understand from body language, from what I've observed. It doesn't mean it's the absolute truth. I'm sure there are other ways to interpret the behavior, but that for me just sees a bit of a pattern of behavior. So if you're new to the channel, do me a massive favor, like it, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of uploads. We appreciate you guys. All right, let's get into this video. But before we do, you already know what I gotta do. I gotta do the intro, baby. Little Black, you know what time it is. Yes, listen. So all the men had a very interesting disposition in their body language towards the women. I want to go slightly back now. And it was interesting. Well, Katina and she's holding his hand after he kind of caused Lindsay to apologize. You can see that they're doing quite well and quite close. But in regards to with Michael, Steve, was it Steve? I think it's Steve. I don't know why Mark, sorry, and Chris. Their particular behaviors are quite interesting. Bear in mind the kind of women that they were also dealing with: Alyssa, Jasmina, and also as well Lindsay. Now, especially Lindsay and Alyssa were problematic in their own ways, and Jasmina had her own problematic behavior, consistently calling out Michael. And what I think I'm seeing here is problematic behaviors that cause the men to feel some type of way. Now, when I look at these things, let's have a look at this.
To a lighter note, and let's talk about the intimacy exercise.
You can see here he is leaning away from Alyssa. Mark does the exact same, and then Michael does the exact same. And the reason why I found this, I won't even say it was a problem, but more, it told me more about them. And the reason being that all the women seem to be sitting upright. Have you noticed that? They're not leaning away. Do you know why? Because they don't care. That's the honest truth. Lindsay, Jasmina, Alyssa, in their most madness that they were doing, they don't care about these men, right? They don't have no emotional attachment to these men. All 3 of them felt emotional about the situations. I'm not saying it's even wrong for them to feel emotional about the situation. I'm saying how they're responding. All 3 of them have taken their emotions out of the situation and do not care about the person sitting next to them. That's my interpretation of it, because all 3 of them held a very good frame when it came to sitting next to these men, right? Look how Alyssa's sitting, comfortably upright, not leaning away.
All received from Dr. Viviana.
Look at Jasmina. Is she leaning away? Nope, she's comfortably upright, sitting in her seat. She's comfortable.
Let's watch how each of you push the boundaries with.
Is Lindsay looking away from him? No, Mark's leaning away from her. All the men showed their frame. I am not saying that they are not good men or anything. I'm saying that when you when you allow emotions to guide you, and you have a passive aggressive nature in how you deal with things, right? Then it comes through your body language rather than through what you say. We looked at Chris, the way he handled the situation. Of course, he called out Alyssa a little bit as well. But I think a lot of us guys would have been like, listen, you're dumb. Don't be stupid. Like, get out of here, because this is madness. Might have come at her much more differently. Same thing happened to Gil last season, actually. He started leaning away too when he got emotional about the situation. Like, he wants to literally get away from her. Michael too, how he dealt with Jasmina, right? If Michael had a bit more of a, I'm going to say it, the masculine frame, and you just let Jasmina know what it is, bruv, I'm telling you, fam, You don't lean. You won't be leaning at the end. You'll be holding your seat like this. Is what it is. You know, you got it wrong. I got it wrong, and it is what it is. Same also with Mark the Shark and Lindsay. He has been leaning away since the beginning of the show. Okay, right? Leaning away all the time because he's trying to get away. That leaning is I'm trying to get away, and I don't like being around you. You know, I'm hurt by what you've done, which is fair enough. But I'm saying in those moments, you know, like I keep saying, like watching body language is oftentimes a game of chess with people, because people who can read body language, especially as a man, when you've hunted in the past, and just for those who obviously watch my show and probably go on Lipstick Alley and tell stories, when you've hunted in the past, whether they're, you know, the best looking or not the best looking, it doesn't really make a difference. The game is still the game. When you've hunted women in the past, you look for body language. And then when you see the body language, it's a split-second decision that you make. The very same thing can be said here. When I look at some of the interactions that these men had with these women, the women were out here playing chess while they were playing checkers. No one's saying get out there and shout. It's about being assertive, where you know that the person can't play like that. Now, I'm not saying Michael didn't, you know, hold up his side of things when it came to Jasmina, but I wonder if that even that hold up in terms of how he, you know, tried to hold Jasmina accountable was more the argumentative energy rather than being a strong frame and emotionally regulating. I know this because I still dealing with my own. That when, you know what I mean? Like, instead of just being like holding frame, if I was to have an argument with my missus, I know that I'd throw a strop, I have a body language there. Rather than just being like, listen, look, I'm not gonna lie to you, like, I'm hurt by what you said right now and holding frame. But I have to like go like this, and you know, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to be around you right now. I'm communicating through my body to tell you how I feel and expressing it, rather than actually oftentimes what that means is you don't verbally communicate this often, or you don't know how to communicate it very well. So you tend to use your body as a frame, as a language tool towards the other person. So I'm annoyed. Right? Women usually do this. Can I be honest with you? Women usually do this. As men, I'm not saying they're women, these men. I'm just saying I've noticed this behavior usually in women when they use their body to show you how they feel. And yet it is the women in this scene, Jasmina, Alyssa, and Lindsay, who are holding frame, which is why the battles between them in each couple, the women won. And whether they were right or wrong, it seemed like they came out on top. See that Jasmina was still trying to finish Michael even at the reunion, and he was being quiet and silent. He don't like conflict. Chris too. He had a little bit better because he did a little bit more of the conflict, and he called her out a little bit as well. I'll be honest with you, he called her out a little bit better. But you can tell that this position with him is like it's a little bit soft, right? Same with Mark the Shark. We really know about Mark the Shark. You know what I mean? So it's really interesting kind of watching it. Now, I may be completely wrong, and I may be over interpreting it, but it was just interesting to kind of see that for me, watching them kind of lean away from the partners, yet the women were holding frame very, very well. And it's like, you know, in all the three cases, you were trying to say that the women had a big part to play in some of the madness, and yet they were the ones who were holding frame and seemingly less emotional about the situation. Because just believe the leaning away was emotional. Whether you like it or not, it was emotional. Okay? But listen, like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification uploads. We appreciate you guys. See you later.
You know what?